stage at GameSpot. This is the last session of the bonus stage today. My voice is starting to go. With us, this is the collective brain trust of GameSpot, and you may notice a dominant theme with the exception of Dan here. So we've got Guy Cocker, who runs GameSpot UK, Dan runs GameSpot in Australia, Justin Calvert, GameSpot US, English, Australia.
Used to be English.
Former English criminal.
But you're a criminal.
You booted us onto an island.
You what?
You booted us onto an island.
We
and now you
did,
come back
and
to
look
our
what you
weather.
did with it.
Amazing things.
Amazing things.
Yeah, now all of England wishes they could be there.
Exactly.
It's sunnier, it's bigger, you have better beaches,
Go on.
Better-
I love hearing this.
Better women, I married
you have
one
better
of them.
beards.
Not better.
I don't know. I do like your. Not many people in the. So I put a thing up with everyone's like Twitter followers, and I really appreciated that you are a fearer of beards.
Absolutely. Terrifying.
What's it called? I can't.
Pagonophobia.
A pagonophobia.
It's a real thing, people.
A fear of beards, which he has.
And they get stopped at airports a lot.
Really? They search your beard.
Yeah. I think stuff's in there.
I think you've got it in you to have a Kevin Van Ort beard one day.
Or will you take the strips out?
A quality that
Yeah.
high.
I actually did very briefly consider doing a different beard style every day of the show.
I'll kind of go grind it down
Yeah.
until eventually you've just got like a soul patch or
Yes.
something.
Yeah. And I did something similar for charity for cancer.
If I shave this off, my children laugh
Yeah.
because I look like 15, and then people won't think I look like Brad Shoemaker's dad.
Kids won't listen.
Even younger with the short hair there as well. So.
So we have one of these booked end of every day at the show. We want to check in with you guys on what you've seen, what's impressed you, what hasn't impressed you. So today's a big one because we've done all the press conferences. We had Nintendo this morning. Nearly everybody that's been on this stage so far today has been a bit on Nintendo. Adam Sessler at the beginning of the day, definitely not happy with it. How did you guys feel?
I'm not less not happy about it, but I don't think there was that genuine moment where you're like, oh my god, I've got to get a Wii U now. There was not. It lacked that for me.
Yeah.
Although the Lego game did look pretty cool, I thought.
I was really impressed with
Yeah.
that. Do we know if that's exclusive yet? Is it exclusive to Wii U?
I've not seen it.
It's only Wii U and 3DS that they've announced so far.
Right.
I don't know about any
And it
others.
has a subtitle that begins with a U, so it must be a Wii U exclusive, right?
But yeah, I mean, overall, I still think Ubisoft maybe had the best E3 press conference, aside from the sort of difficulties in doing comedy, which is always a theme here at E3.
Yeah.
But if you take away the horrible, awkward banter, the content was really strong.
Yeah.
And if anything, I thought Ubi was probably the strongest because the first parties, Sony was really propped up by Ubi content.
I was going to say, Ubisoft have been strongest in everyone else's press conferences.
I thought their presence at Sony, I actually preferred the presentation of it and also what they showed because I thought the naval, I mean, you'd mentioned the naval combat because you'd seen it, but I'd never seen it. And I thought I knew what to expect from Assassin's Creed. It was going to be running around in trees.
Yeah.
So when they showed that was like a nice, pleasant surprise.
Absolutely.
And what else did they show at Sony that they didn't show the other one? Oh, well, there's Liberation, which,
And 4-player Far Cry 3 as well.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Pretty good.
Absolutely.
less boobs in the Sony demo.
Yes. Yes.
I gotta wonder how, because that was on Spike, right? I gotta think the
Yeah,
producers
I
at
think so.
Spike were like, oh my god, what are they doing?
Boobs and gay jokes.
What's going on?
I did like
And
that line.
Girlwood.
Yeah, Girlwood. Well, I don't know what that was about. She's famous in America, isn't she? She's an actress.
She's actually done a bunch of games industry stuff as well, so she's been pretty connected with the. But yeah, there was actually a bunch of people on Twitter who were like, "Is Girlwood a thing?"
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it must be, right?
Everyone's a little bit gay, right? Right.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, but it was good. I mean, I don't know. I think Nintendo it wasn't a massive disappointment or anything. I wasn't actually there. You guys were there, right? I went to all the ones yesterday and watched the Nintendo one from our war room this morning, and it's always a different experience because when you're at the events, you get swept up in it, and there's always quite a few fanboys and everyone. When you're in the GameSpot war room, everyone's sort of taking the piss out of everything, which I enjoy more. I think a little bit more.
I think you're exactly right though. There wasn't that single moment where you said this is a must-have device.
Right.
And coming into the show, I thought, and I still think that Nintendo has a bit of an image problem with the device because people aren't entirely sure whether it's a peripheral for the existing Wii or an entirely new console. There'll be an education process around that. And I thought, if they're going to go out as the new core platform because all the developers are so excited about more RAM and highest resolution, best looking version of the game, yeah, they had the third-party support in there, and there's some great content. But at the same time, I thought the Nintendo product really was the one in the limelight for a good chunk of it. And some of it was good, but it wasn't that. Take my money.
Maybe. I think it's interesting, like, that mainstream perception of things, because I went on the BBC last night. I'm always interested to see what other people outside the games industry are talking about. And last night it seemed to be the smart glass stuff from Microsoft. Yeah. And that was it.
That was a big thing. So because we're here, we have a PR person that hooks all of us up to do lots of stuff. You'll see our names popping up in all kinds of obscure places over the next week. But the stuff that people are asking about is like, I mean, all the Xbox questions I got this morning were about NBA, NHL, and ESPN, and like
really?
Xbox as a media and entertainment device. And it was sort of like, oh, and there was some games with shooting in them or something, right? And it was, well, yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, by the EA conference, I was just sick of like beige, oversaturated first-person shooters. I was just done. Like, is this the best you can come up with collectively?
I'm glad you said that, because at the risk of sounding like an old man, and there was so much violence yesterday, and I know it's like, a lot of shooting, and
The kids
it's just,
today,
it's just got so much.
Or in my day.
I know. By the time that guy's head came off with a shotgun at the end of The Last of Us, I was just
So gratuitous, guy, isn't it?
It may have been the pun at the end of it where it was like mind blowing. That was a good pun, though. That was a good pun.
But this was the first year that there are clearly plants in the audience at these things, especially at Ubisoft, because there were people whooping and hollering at stuff that there was really no reason to do that.
Oh yeah.
But there was this sort of almost, in the room, there was this sort of tribal, like, oh yeah, every time there was a really violent moment.
Right.
Which was, and it was so tangible that, I mean, we were all looking at Twitter on our phones and stuff, that you would see people like, all right, that was a bit kind of weird that the crowd went nuts at that, because that was kind of gross.
Yeah, it was things like Sony renaming the PlayStation Mobile store.
Oh yeah.
Like, that gets an applause over here? What's going on? But they did give out free PlayStation Plus subscriptions, so that would be
that was a genuine applause.
Yeah.
Great.
Free
So
stuff?
the people in the room that got free stuff that the millions of people at home didn't, that gets an applause.
But it was all about thanking the fans.
Yeah, many of whom were there. And then when I got to the Sony PlayStation booth today, I was trying to get a media pass. I couldn't because the queue was so long for people trading their PlayStation Plus codes because they don't work in the UK. So
That's a little bit sad.
yeah, but I know the PlayStation one was the biggest. Definitely, it had a sort of festival feel outside, and I assume they invited a lot of PlayStation users. It felt like there was a lot.
Yeah,
of goodwill
they had a big
towards.
community presence there, which was good.
Yeah, which you want, I guess, if you're a Sony or a Microsoft. You want people in the audience that are not jaded journalists who will go.
Well, there was a sense, I think, going into Sony that, they need to show something on whatever the hell they're calling PlayStation 4. And coming out of it, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, that was quite good. But when you kind of talk to them, like, if you were out last night or you were chatting to people, when you got to the bottom of the why they thought it was quite good, it was really because it sucked a lot less than they thought it was going to.
Yeah. I think the disappointment of Sony was that there was no Last Guardian. There was a rumor that was doing the rounds in the UK about them partnering with OnLive, and I think, Gaikai, or a streaming service, and that didn't come about. But I think that The Last of Us, and having seen David Cage's new game, and I don't think I can talk about it, but it was some weirdness around that. But the demo there looks really, really impressive. I thought that they were great demos.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I think The Last of Us right now is probably my sort of early favorite for like game of the show.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually.
Oh boy, there might be a fight. So tonight,
I'm calling it.
So it's Tuesday night for anyone that's watching this on the archive. Tuesday night, we all get together in our war room where everybody gets together, and we're going to just argue about. We're only giving away 12 Best of E3 awards. In the past, we've done
a million.
Dozens of the damn things for genres and everything. So now we're just doing the 12 best things of E3, and I think it might get quite argumentative.
Well,
we should film that.
We're not naming an overall winner, so it shouldn't be too bad.
It's just 12 great things.
I mean, Last of Us is a lock.
I think by this time last night, or maybe last night, there was about 6 things that were on that list. I don't know if it's been updated, but maybe there'll be some Nintendo
So since
stuff
last
on there.
night, I mean, I was really impressed with the Lego City undercover thing. I think, what's it called? Why do I keep
P100?
forgetting- Why do I keep forgetting its name? The Ubisoft thing.
Zombie U.
Watch Dogs.
No, it's
Oh,
Watch
Watch
Dogs.
Dogs,
Watch
yeah.
Dogs definitely on there.
Watch
Yeah.
Dogs, I think everybody got behind. Twitter went absolutely
Yeah.
Oh
nuts.
yeah, because it was a real surprise,
And
and,
it was-
somehow they managed to keep an actual secret.
Which doesn't happen in E3, and it was a good one.
Yeah.
You know, it's content that people want to see, and it genuinely
And it
unique.
came from the most unexpected place.
Yeah.
It's the end of a Ubisoft press conference.
Yes, yeah. It was
Like,
crazy.
not, like, wasn't there a year they just ended with laser tag?
yeah,
Like,
Or the breathing game.
yeah, or breathing.
Whatever happened to the breathing game?
that's been my disappointment. There's been no like genuinely really horrible moments like Mr. Caffeine this year. You know,
Yeah,
really
nothing
cringe-worthy,
that bad.
like
Nothing that bad.
horrible to sit through moments.
Yeah.
Although Ubi did have that,
The YouTube star.
No, that was terrible. But
Shoot Mania.
Shoot Mania.
That demo was a little.
Yeah,
yeah, with the-
I gotta say, I felt bad because I played Shoot Mania at the pre-E3 event, and I had really had a lot of fun with it, and I think that demo really didn't do it any favors.
No, I think that's the problem. But it's great that Ubisoft is embracing esports.
Yeah, yeah.
And is,
Well, yeah, I
But
don't
the
know
thing
that that's
about
the way to go
esports-
with that game.
Yeah, I mean, we have the MLG stuff on our stage here, and I think they tried to embrace esports, but it was in a very like, hey, we're gonna do esports, yay! And I think there were probably tens of thousands of esports fans going, yeah, but don't do it like that, please.
Yeah.
And not to get hung up on the technicality, but the whole reason for having it was he was having an argument with the other presenter and saying, let's do a battle in Shoot Mania. He won, and then she told him to go back to the backstage. So I don't know, technicality, but yeah, Shoot Mania. I don't know. I think it looks good, but like you say, maybe the wrong way to demo it.
There were a few
Yeah.
things like that. I thought the worst place in the world to demo that book thing was in front of thousands of people.
It seemed to go forever.
And it went on too long. I mean, I think, if you've got young kids, there's something really magical about it, but it does not, I mean, it needs to be an intimate demo where you're thinking as a family person and I don't know, it just was the wrong way to do it. I think the technology was impressive.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And we talked about it, whether it was a good thing for gamers or a good thing for gamer parents.
Yeah.
As an introductory tool to getting kids to read more, and the connection with Pottermore is a really great one.
Right.
Because that was the Harry Potter series is one that has really brought reading to young kids.
Everybody,
again.
yeah. And people were taking the fact that J.K. Rowling wasn't there or whatever as some kind of diss to it, but she's like a notorious recluse,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
She didn't.
It was when they introduced the guy who came on though. I couldn't help but be disappointed because you felt like he was going to say J.K. Rowling, and everyone's like ready to applaud. And it's like, I'm sure he's a great guy, but here's a guy you've never heard of.
Or bring out Daniel Radcliffe or something. Or,
Yeah.
She didn't even record a video message. It was just a quote on the screen.
Yeah, and that was the other great thing was because when that came on screen, the guy was like, no one says it better than J.K. Rowling herself. That came on screen, and he started saying something completely different.
What was the quote? I like
and
money.
it took a second for you to realize, oh no, he's not reading that, he's saying something different. I need to read that and listen to him. Yeah, it wasn't ideal. But
I know someone in London that's worked with her, and she's apparently the most immaculately turned out woman ever.
Really?
So, yeah, but
I
she's.
couldn't even pick her out in a lineup. Like, I have
I
no
couldn't.
idea what she looks like.
No, but she's rich enough, surely. But again, going back to the thing, the outside the E3 bubble, I reckon that's the thing that is going to be reported on in the mainstream
yeah.
press. It's the big thing. It's huge. Whether it didn't go down that well, but it's still going to be big outside of that.
So I think one of the predictions I think all of us had made at some point going into this was that PC was having a really strong show. Have you seen much yet that's PC based?
I saw at EA's press conference, Far Cry 3 was, I think, definitely running on a PC, and that looked amazing. Graphically amazing.
SimCity I really like. A lot of people that have
SimCity.
been on here today have talked about that.
SimCity does look really good.
Yeah, very good.
I can't remember who I was talking to. I think it was maybe with the Giant Bomb guys. We were theorizing that the reason they're doing two SimCities, one social, one big budget, is whichever one does well, that's the direction EA is going to take. So this might be the
It's not
last
about-
big name SimCity ever.
Right, so hedging their bets.
But I did like the whole tilt shift toy looking.
Yeah,
the
no, I love that
style
as
was
well.
really
Yeah,
nice.
it's a really nice art style, and I just love that. That's another one I saw at a pre-3 event, and the thing that got me pretty excited is just the interaction between your city and other cities.
Yeah.
And they were saying it's like, if I have my city next to yours, and my city spewing out like pollution, depending on the wind, it might all blow over to your city.
Can I
says that?
Imagine
Can I then
that.
send tanks to your city?
I mean, I'm sure there'll be
Or a
DLC
monster?
tanks at some point.
Maybe that's the next big crossover, like World of Tanks and SimCity.
Ooh.
You could just take over cities.
World of Tanks is, well, they got World of Warplanes and World
Yeah.
of Battleships here now.
There's
eh?
boats as well.
Yeah.
Ships.
Yeah,
a
that's
huge
good.
plane out
That's
front.
good stuff.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. But you're right. I think you're on that point. The PC stuff. There's nothing that's springing to mind that's like that big. I guess last year would have been Battlefield, even though that was on consoles.
And I
where it's
know
like,
they're pushing the fact that it's on console, but in my mind, XCOM is a PC game.
yeah. That's
That's
a good
I went
point.
over
Yeah,
to
that's true. I played that, and we were playing it on a PC. But the thing that was crazy was they had all the PCs set up to play with an Xbox controller. And I know that a couple of the PC journalists there were a little bit put out that they would
with a
have this
keyboard?
game running on a PC, and it's like, well, I can't play with a mouse and keyboard. And I think I got the impression that some of those guys probably very rarely pick up an Xbox 360
Right.
controller.
It's kind of offensive if you're a PC.
Yeah,
journalist.
I mean, I was fine with it, but
Just leave the room.
So have
done with
any
it.
of you seen anything yet that's not like a big name thing, that's not like on everyone's radar, that's just I saw this, I thought it was really cool, I was not expecting it at all. Has there been anything yet?
Like a hidden gem. I don't
Yeah.
think so. No.
I think this early in the show, all of my appointments today have been really big beat stuff.
Yeah.
Last of Us, Call of Duty Black Ops 2,
Yeah.
so a little bit of Beyond as well.
Yeah.
Which, is that a sleeper?
Beyond?
Beyond. No,
I
that's.
don't
a
think
thing.
it counts as a sleeper.
I don't
That's
think so.
AAA.
I'm pretty excited for Ascend, New Gods. I'm actually heading over to meet with those guys after this.
That's the toy.
the Toy Soldiers
Soldiers
guys,
guys,
Signal
yeah.
Studios. I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of that stuff. And also, I know you just had the guy on, but like Game Globe, like
That.
anyone who hasn't seen that needs to check it out.
Yeah,
because
because we'll say
it's
it's
really
a game-making browser-based thing, and I think there'll be a collective eye roll,
Yeah.
and then
Like,
you
you need to
see
check
it.
it
Oh
out.
my god!
Yeah, it's like the tools are super easy and intuitive. The graphics are, you won't believe how good the graphics are for a browser-based thing that you're doing. And you can share your games with people just with a URL. Like,
It's like playable YouTube stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like there's embeds, and it's just yeah.
yeah.
It could
and-
be massive.
But for hidden gems, there's usually something on the Sony stand. Not to sound like a Sony fanboy, but there is usually
yeah,
something.
but the
Yeah.
PSN crew and the pub fund and everything, they're doing so much better job of finding. We had Jonathan Mack on earlier on, who was actually talking about how he'd gone from being a one-man thing to so now the whole Soundshape thing. He's got like some huge studio now because he's doing it on PS3 and Vita, and he's got all these people working on it. But I mean, that all came out of Sony just plucking them out of being a cool idea. It was in the IGF.
They've done well. I still can't believe Journey is the biggest selling. It's amazing that it is the biggest selling PSN game of all time. That's
Yeah.
And it's such
testament to that.
such a polarizing title as well.
There are the people who really love Journey and
Yeah.
love what it might bring to games and the potentially a turning point for, what games are. And there are the others who are saying, it's $20, it's $15, it was
Yeah.
2 hours long, and that's not what games should be. So
It's too beautiful to be mainstream.
I know.
But
Actually,
I'm really sad that The Last Guardian isn't here. Though.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Where is that? Where's that game now?
There's some
We're now
wacky-
at the point with Last Guardian where every time we mention it,
Yeah, I'm
the
sure
comments
everyone's sick
just
of it.
light up with, will you gun journalists please shut the fuck up
I'm
about Last
sorry,
Guardian?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's just I can't take any more Call of Duty.
But you don't need The Last Guardian because you've got The Last of Us.
Yes, there's already a
And
title.
I'm just gonna, and I know we already covered it, but I'm just gonna say right now, like, so my big worry after I saw that demo, I've seen one demo previously, and my big worry is that everything seems super, super scripted, and my worry was that the guy demoing it would just know, like he's timing his stuff exactly so that it all plays out really well.
Yeah.
But the demo I just saw, they played through the same stuff from E3, but played through it completely differently.
Yeah, nice.
And it was every bit as brilliant, like just the character interactions and all that stuff. Like,
I think I saw the same demo, and the thing that blew me away was that that where it brought in at the E3 demo was really to save a lot of time. But there's a whole exploration element with stuff like billboards and movie posters, and you get little bits of story through them. That,
Oh, because she mentioned that there was that wolf thing was everywhere, right?
and so they had a short discussion. You got a little bit about each character, and So
the
that's,
demo was deliberately, they kind of cheated in the demo. That Even something as simple as like, there was a bit in the demo where, I think it's when they go into the kind of water flooded like hotel, and there's a ladder there already.
Yeah.
In the demo that we saw, that ladder isn't there yet. There's actually a sort of puzzle thing, you explore a little bit, you find the ladder and you put it there. But they obviously streamlined it for the demo to get more action and get more of the kind of gunplay and stuff.
It's good to hear because it looked like Last of Us was sort of it just the combat looked so good, but it was that feeling that it was so scripted that maybe when you were playing it wouldn't be that good.
They're just doing so much with AI, I think.
Yeah.
He was talking about how the guy who was presenting it compared it to playing poker, where he's like the AI will basically look at your situation, and you hear it in their conversation. They talk to each other, like if they hear a gunshot, like, oh shit, like, how many of them are there? And oh, I only saw one, and and then they hear the click of the gun, and he's like, oh, I know that sound, and and the bit where, so I've seen 2 demos now where Ellie throws a brick or something. That won't always happen, apparently. It'll only happen if you've been somewhere recently where she was able to pick up a brick. Wow. And I don't know.
That's that little sort of magical stuff that you need to play it to...
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping I get to play it.
Is it playable?
No,
I think
not that I've seen.
I think it might be playable for judges, so I'm hoping I can get in there.
Right.
But I don't know that I have another appointment for it, so maybe
I'm
not.
going to be going to Sony's stand and saying I'm Justin Calvert. If that's the case, I'm going to play that game.
English accent, GameSpot, come on.
Just cover it up a little.
I think EA was a bit of a disappointment overall. That's my only disappointing thing so far. I thought they were playing it too safe, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Lots of sequels, nothing really that exciting, but they had Jason West there, sort of angling around trying to get a photo of him, trying to see if he was going to announce
doing
something.
anything?
No, they mentioned they were in the crowd. And then when they got Dana on stage for UFC, I thought that maybe he put the boot into THQ a little bit too much, saying how great it was to be with
I was
EA.
surprised at that because Dana had always been pretty vocal about how awesome it was that THQ supported him when EA wouldn't, and he didn't have a good word to say about EA.
Yeah.
And
I
it's a
looked at
little
the original
disappointing.
interview, and it wasn't exactly glowing.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
So we have Jason Rubin on the stage tomorrow, so maybe I'll
Grill him there.
see if he's interested in talking about that. Maybe you won't. He'll be like, oh, that wasn't my problem. I started after that.
Warm him up first. I'll start with that.
So you have some pictures that you want to share?
I'm just sat here playing with it.
Or are you just looking at your phone?
So here we go. I don't know if people are going to see them, but I went to the Skylanders booth earlier.
I'm surprised that wasn't
And so they have a bunch of the new toys and stuff there. Yeah, and you see, so here they've got some of it.
So
I'll let them focus in
zoom in
on
on it.
So these are 2 of the new toys that actually light up. I forget what they're calling them now.
Giants?
No. So there are giants. They light up, but there's also regular ones, and they light up.
Oh.
And there was one I'd never heard of, who's the guy maybe on the left here, who looks like a mushroom or a toadstool. He's one of the ones that lights up. So I took a bunch of photos of them. That's actually a better one.
That looks cool.
So there's a guy there, I can't think of his name now, it's one of my favorite ones, the guy with the Prison Break. So there's a light up version of Prison Break, and then there's this guy who is called like Shroom Boo or something like that. So they have them there. I think they had 3 giants there. There's Bouncer, who's a mechanical one, who, fingers crossed, we're going to be having on our live show tomorrow. They're hoping to bring the figure with them. They had Tree Rex, who's the tree.
Really?
And then there was another one that I'd never seen at any event.
But they're substantial, right?
They're pretty big. Yeah, they're pretty big. This guy, perfect. This guy who looks kind of like a medieval knight or something. He just has this huge mace. I was just over there. I was over there like a kid, just taking photos of all the Skylanders.
Yeah. And then just trying to steal toys, take them with you. I need these.
I would be lying if I said it didn't cross my mind, but they're pretty well tethered. I can attest to that. And they have an awful lot of staff for such a small area. So I think they know that people like me are kind of loitering and just
I'm surprised.
hoping.
I'm surprised no one demoed that at any of the press conferences. In the UK, at least, that was the most profitable game of last year. It's a big game.
So Marco, our producer, is telling us to wrap this up. Guy, do you have any photos that you wanted to share that
do.
don't
Well,
have a picture of a penis that you drew on it with your...
I think Jane's been through and deleted all that stuff. But basically, I've got a picture of us walking into the. Can I hold it up to the camera? It's like a picture.
Camera's over there.
Video of us walking into the convention center in slow motion.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
I will post that later.
Excellent.
Bill Murray style.
It's very funny, but yeah, it's also my background now as well. So
Super.
International hookup. Amazing.
All right, so you can follow all of us on Twitter. So follow GameSpot on Twitter, which is just @GameSpot. Guy, what's your Twitter?
I'm Guy Cocker.
Guy Cocker. Dan,
Dan Capini.
you want to spell that for people? Because I always get the P's and N's the wrong way
Yeah,
around.
too many of each. DAN, no space, CHIA, double PINI.
Right, Justin?
Justice Covert, my superhero alter ego.
Oh, super.
So yeah, JUSTICECOVERT.
I am JWH Davison. Coming up tomorrow, hang on, let me look at the schedule for tomorrow, because this
Tons of cool stuff.
Tons of cool stuff tomorrow. So on this stage, we kick off at noon with Tim Schafer and Greg Rice from Double Fine. They're going to talk about their Kickstarter thing. I have Garnet Lee and Jeff Canada from Weekend Confirmed on, Jason Rubin, which I mentioned. Sundance, who runs the MLG, is coming on with Dennis Fong, who runs Raptor. But what you may not know about him is he's Thresh, who was one of the, I mean, to a lot of people, the original pro gamer. He's going to be on with T-Squared. They're going to talk about the difference between that stuff. We have Jason Mewes. I think you want to be on for that. He's coming.
Yeah, I'm hoping to come on for that.
Are you going to the screening of Noobs? No.
So the guys from Noobs, they're going to be here. We also have Josh and Rick Gomez. Josh Gomez, you may know from Chuck. He's the guy with the beard from Chuck. And Rick Gomez is his brother, who was in Band of Brothers, and also does a ton of video game voice work. And then we'll all be here at the end of the day to do another wrap tomorrow.
Yep.
That's it for today on the bonus stage. Thank you very much. If you're watching this in the archive, keep jumping in the comments. We'll be in there. Talk to us on Twitter, and we'll be back tomorrow at noon.
If you're watching it live, Black Ops 2 is about to happen on the main stage.
Oh, wow, yeah, go watch that.
Do it.